Huge thank you to Toyota of Naperville for letting me borrow the car in this video. Toyota of Naperville is one of the largest Toyota dealers in Illinois, ready to find the right car for you. Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2014 Nissan Versa Note S+. Up front is a 1.6 liter inline 4, and down below is a CVT. Now, I am super excited to be driving this here Versa Note for a couple of reasons. First of all, I've done a Versa here on the channel, but I've never done the Note. This is a slightly different version of the Versa. It's not just a trim level, it's actually a different vehicle. And so I'm excited to share those differences with you today, but also I just like bringing economy cars to the channel. I feel like they don't often get the time of day or limelight, so consider this the Nissan Versa Note's 15 minutes of fame. But before we get on to anything else, I have a website, zackpradel.com, where you can buy stickers and other merchandise when it becomes available. You can also submit your own vehicle to be reviewed by me through a quick and easy submission form, and you would get a video of your car, just like the one you're watching now about this Versa Note, and you could read my behind the scenes blog to see what I'm filming before it comes out on the channel. But let's get back to that 1.6 liter under the hood, making 109 horsepower. It is not a very high performance engine, although this is the biggest engine offered in the Versa Note. In other markets, they got really tiny engines, so the 1.6 is actually a monster compared to those, and it's the only engine offered that makes triple-digit horsepower. Now, like I said, 109 horsepower isn't really crazy, but it is a dual overhead cam engine, and it's relatively efficient. Now, like I said, paired to it is a CVT, which means continuously variable transmission, and I'm not the biggest fan. Couple of reasons for that. First of all, I just don't tend to like CVTs in cars at all, but this one's a little lazy, it's a little lumpy, it was kind of holding itself in a weird way while I was driving it, and that's to be expected. It's manufactured by Jatco, J-A-T-C-O, which is an abbreviation for Japan Transmission Company, and their CVTs are known to be pretty unreliable. A lot of people do have issues with them, especially here in the Versa because it was such a cheap entry-level vehicle. So if you want longevity, I would highly recommend finding a Note that is in manual. They also offered a 5-speed manual transmission, and I would recommend that over this. Last but not least, about the drivetrain, of course, the Note is front-wheel drive. And how does the actual vehicle drive itself? It's fine. It's very, very economy. I actually wish that there was a little bit more visibility, and of course the ride is going to be decently rough because it is a little tiny economy car, and it's no match for the Illinois potholes I have to deal with on a day-to-day basis. So you're definitely going to notice the economy side of it while driving over potholes and bumps. The steering is kind of numb, the throttle's kind of numb. It's a very, very basic experience. But if you just need a vehicle to go A to B, well, this does that pretty well, just doesn't pamper you while doing so. With that stuff being said, let's get on to the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 2 physical gauges and a screen. Off to the left is my tachometer, off to the right is my speedometer, and then of course I get a little amber gauge screen in the center giving me my odometer, coolant temperature, and fuel. I'm really glad that I get a coolant temperature gauge. A lot of economy cars skip out on that. The steering wheel is lopsided, so off to the left I don't have anything, but off to the right I do have cruise control options. Now this is the S+, which is one step up from base model. So we do get that cruise control and the CVT, and the automatic transmission is now standard. But the overall feel of the steering wheel is interesting. It's been rubbed smooth in several parts, almost like unnervingly smooth. It's like uncanny valley smooth at some points where it doesn't feel right in my hand. It feels fake. Very, very interesting. Now, of course, this is wear and tear and not how the vehicle originally came, but with only 68,000 miles, it wore and tore pretty quickly. Off to the left, I have a climate control vent as well as my mirror adjustments and traction control off down below. And then moving on to the door, I have my latch to get in and out and my crank for the window. Moving into the center, I have 2 climate control vents and the hazard switch. Then I have the stock radio. Of course, this also has amber lights to it. This was very, very typical of Nissan throughout the late 2000s and complete 2010s. They put these orange lights in everything, so that feels right at home for the Versa. Then I have my climate controls, so they're sort of in this three-pointed cluster Off to the left is where to send it, in the center is my fan speed, and off to the right is temperature, as well as I do have an AC and rear defrost button, and I can adjust recirculating or bringing in the outside air. Then I do have a little cubby, and we have the cup holders. So we will do a big freaking bottle test here in the 2014 Nissan Versa Note S Plus. And unfortunately it fails not only because the cup holders are too skinny, which is 99% of cars' problems, but also the ledge where the climate control sit is too far out, so the top of the bottle hits too. So it really loses and fails on two different fronts. Then I have the shifter itself. I do have an overdrive button on the side, but it's very, very standard, very economy, and of course I'm not really bothered by it, but par for the course at this point. Down below that, I do have a handbrake, 12-volt outlet, and a nice little cubby. And then we gotta talk about the seats. The seats are very, very basic. They don't have any lettering on them. They don't have any style to them, really. It's the most basic seats you could get from Nissan at the time, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. It just is what it is. But speaking of seats, we do have back seats, so let's go do a backseat review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2014 Nissan Versa Note S Plus, and I am thoroughly impressed back here. I am sitting up normally. My head has so much room above me. I am 5'11", and I'm not a small guy. I'm not hitting the ceiling. My knees have so much space before I hit the front seat. No, it's not quite a Mercedes S-Class, but this has tons and tons of backseat space, especially way better than the Kia Rio I just filmed, way better than the Chevy Spark I just filmed. Take a look at this back area. It has tons and tons of room. I am very, very impressed with this back seat. Again, not the biggest back seat in the whole wide world, but for an economy car, I will go out and say this is probably the most spacious back seat in this segment by far. And that is a huge, huge plus of the Nissan Versa Note over the traditional Versa. This is really, really spectacular. So if you want to buy this car for like a ride share service, you can get them really cheap in the single thousands of dollars. Plenty of backseat space. They're going to be comfortable. Not a bad idea. Let's hop around the very back. Speaking of space, let's go take a look at the trunk and cargo space, and then we'll talk about the looks. All right, so we're on the back of the Versa Note. Come down here, little pull handle, and you just pull this up, and you get a decent amount of space. Nothing really too crazy. You can lift this up. You get a tool set and some more storage. This is a very, very flimsy piece of, I assume, cardboard or something like that. I do get a little light back here, and with these pull tabs, you can pull up and put the back seats down, so you'll have tons and tons of space. You'll get to utilize all that back seat space for cargo if you really want to. But again, the space that they were able to put into this tiny little economy box is absolutely fantastic and a big, big win for the Versa Note. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and first of all, well, I really love the looks. That should go without saying. I think this thing looks really, really cool and interesting. It sort of has these nice angles to it, and I think it doesn't look super dated for being 9 years old. And I do want to say I love that it's in red. I love when economy cars are in fun, flamboyant colors. This really sticks out in a crowd. You're gonna see this in your parking lot and be able to identify it right away. It's gonna stick out, and I like that a lot. If you're gonna be paying not a whole lot of money for a car, you should make it fun, and the Versa Note absolutely does that. But with all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think finally driving a Nissan Versa Note S Plus? Well, the driving experience is rather lackluster. I'm not a big fan of the 1.6. It's trying its best. It showed up this morning. That's more than I can ask of most cars. But with the CVT, it's really, really not a great experience. It feels very labored. It's very hesitant. And I don't like it when my cars feel that way. I want to drive a car that has confidence. And in the powertrain, this car really doesn't. However, there are things that I like about the Nissan Versa Note. Like I mentioned earlier, I love the way this looks. I think it's a really spiffy looking car. I think in terms of the mirage of this same era, this was definitely the better looking option. And I like the usability of it. It has back seats. It's a 4-door. It has a hatch at the back, a little bit more usable than a sedan in my opinion. And you can find these at tremendous discounts. Originally, this car sold for $15,000 brand new. Well, now here in 2023, you can get them for a fraction of that. Now, you might have transmission issues. It's a known issue. It's kind of a CVT thing. But if you can get beyond that or find one with a replaced unit, I think you'll be pretty happy with your purchase. I don't know. There's just something about this car where I dislike it in most aspects, but I still enjoy looking at it. I was still excited to get in the car today. I don't know what it is, but Nissan has seemed to capture that sort of magic. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Toyota of Naperville for letting me take out their Nissan Versa Note. This is one of their used vehicles on the lot. They have tons of vehicles on the lot at all times. Interesting, fun, unique vehicles. You guys know and love Toyota of Naperville. I've been working with them for over 4 years at this point, and I cannot thank them enough. They have fantastic service, and you should definitely check them out with the information up on the screen or linked in the description below. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.